the house that appears after sunset. Today, I'm going to tell you a true story that happened in 2019 in the state of Oregon, USA. A story about a forest and a house that only appears after sunset. Locals say no one can see it during the day. 3 young people decided to go in and film the house that appears after sunset. In Oregon, there's a forest known among locals as Black River Forest. It's calm and peaceful in the morning, but after sunset, no one dares to go near it. Not because of animals or danger, but because people say the forest changes at night. The road feels longer, the sounds fade away, and the air smells like wet earth, as if it just rained moments ago. In the winter of 2019, 3 friends decided to enter the forest to film an amateur horror movie. Their names were Eric, Mike, and Lena. They had cameras, lights, and all the gear. They entered around 4 p.m., planning to shoot a few scenes before dark. Around 6, the sun began to set, and Mike suggested they leave before nightfall. But Eric noticed something strange in the distance, an old wooden house hidden among the trees. It wasn't on the map. This would be the perfect shot. Let's film it. Despite Lena's hesitation, they went in. The house was tilted, covered in thick dust, as if no one had entered for years. The strangest part was that all the windows were nailed shut, from the inside, not the outside, meaning someone had been inside and sealed it themselves. They set up their cameras. Lena heard footsteps upstairs. They rushed to check. Nothing there. But on the dusty floor were small footprints, a child's. They decided to leave. But once they stepped outside, the path they came from was gone. Everything looked different. The trees were denser. No sounds of insects, not even the wind. They tried to use GPS, no signal. Eric turned on his camera, scanning the area. He froze. When he replayed the footage, in the background, the house door was open and someone was standing inside. Tall, its body visible in shadow, but its face was completely hidden. Mike said it must be a camera glitch, but seconds later, the door quietly closed by itself. They decided to spend the night in their car until morning. But when they got back, all 4 tires had been carefully removed and placed neatly beside the car, as if someone had worked on them silently. Everything was eerily quiet. Lena whispered, "Do you see that? The house. It's lit indeed. The once dark wooden house now glowed with warm golden light from its window." Despite their fear, Eric raised his camera and zoomed in. He saw the 3 of them inside the house, laughing, talking, setting up their gear, saying clothes, gestures. Then the The next morning, police found the car on the road, doors open, tires beside it, but no sign of the 3. Search teams combed the forest for days. No house, no cameras, nothing. 2 weeks later, volunteers saw a faint light deep inside the forest. When they approached, they found a small wooden cabin. Inside, they discovered a single camera still recording, showing the last scene of 3 young people laughing before the light went out. Weeks later, the forest was officially sealed off by the police. But the following October, a documentary filmmaker named David Marshall decided to sneak in to shoot a film about the legend that had spread. He entered in broad daylight. Nothing strange. He walked for hours until the sun began to set. That's when he noticed something odd. All the sounds of nature stopped. No birds, no wind, no rustling leaves. Only one sound grew louder, a faint, distant laugh. He followed it until he saw the same old house from the stories. The ground under his feet was soft and muddy, as if the earth didn't want him to move closer. But his curiosity won. As he approached, he heard a girl's voice whisper, "You're late. You were supposed to stay inside." He froze. He'd heard that line before, in the story of the three missing friends. The door slowly opened on its own. Inside, the air was heavy with the smell of burnt wood, and a dim yellow light flickered like a candle. Mike and Lena. Right down the middle, David looked into the remaining half of the mirror. He saw himself, but the reflection moved a second later. A delay. He touched the glass. It was ice cold, but something inside was moving, slowly, breathing. He stepped back, and the reflection began to move, on its own. It smiled. The entire house began to creak, breathing with it. The light went out. Silence. The only thing left was David's camera, and on it, the last thing he ever said. "If you ever find the house, don't go in after sunset. The house isn't a place, it feeds." The next day, police found his camera at the edge of the forest, in the exact same spot where the first camera had been discovered. When they reviewed the footage, the final frame showed the wooden house glowing faintly in the fog, 3 shadows standing before it, and a fourth one slowly approaching the camera. Since then, every year on the same date, locals say they still see a faint light in the forest after sunset. But whenever anyone tries to approach it, the light goes out, and only one voice can be heard, carried by the wind. You were supposed to stay inside. Till today, no one has been able to understand this mystery. What do you think? Tell us in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell to get all the latest true horror stories.